Welcome, dear friends. Here we are, another day, another beautiful opportunity to learn with Emmanuel. Today's message is from the book Words of Eternal Life by Emmanuel through the blessed mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Today's message is from chapter 74, titled Our Cross. So today we're going to learn about which cross are you and I supposed to be carrying and how. The Bible quote is from the book of Mark, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 8, verse 34. Quote, "If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." Jesus. Emmanuel comments on this message by saying, "Let no one complain uselessly. Pain is a process. Perfection is the goal. Thus, travelers of evolution or redemption each have their own cross. One aspires, another must repay. So those who evolve are aspiring to be better, and those who are redeeming themselves are repaying a debt." It's important for us to think about pain as this process, the process where you and I recognize there is something is not working out right, and then there's a course correction. So for example, we incarnate beings have this beautiful body that only works on Earth. Go look at NASA, they haven't found another human type like ours with this physical body, with this spiritual body. And then let's say you eat too much, your stomach hurts. That's an inbuilt system to let you know that was too much for your body to handle. You have pain. Put your hand on the stove, you have a reflex reaction that removes the hand to prevent from burning. And if it burns, you're going to learn, hey, I need to ease off on using that hand. So you and I in our physical bodies have a built-in system to see pain as a signal that something needs to change, right? If you break your leg, you have pain. You're not going to use that leg. You're not going to perform that activity again. But our goal as spirits is perfection. And to be perfect, there is a relative perfection, as we learn in the Gospel according to Spiritism. There's a chapter called Be Perfect. God is perfect. We are relatively perfect compared to God. But we are here on this planet to evolve. We're not here just to rest, enjoy, travel, experiences, right? This is the consumeristic, materialistic part of us that wants that. In a world that is harsh, we want comfort. That's understandable. But there is more that you and I can do to help. Because we are travelers either of evolution or redemption. We are to grow and to redeem, to aspire to be better and to repay. Because we use so much, have been granted so much that one day we're going to be needed to repay. It says here, to accomplish or to make a restitution, life demands a price. No one conquers anything without effort, and no one redeems a debt without suffering. So effort, repetition, right? André Luiz teaches us on his book. We cannot conquer ourselves. We cannot conquer being better. We cannot aspire and make things better if without effort. And that's why it's important that we put effort into the work we do. We teach the new generation to put effort into something, that we work with our loved ones, our co-workers, our members of society to understand that effort leads to conquering ourselves and conquering things, getting better things. Conquer is a very word type message, right? Conquering, Emmanuel is using that word, but it's about building a better us, a better spiritual body, better intellect, better spiritual abilities. He says, while the creature does not become conscious of personal responsibility, this is us in our primitive state. It moves through the world like a semi-rational being, piling problems upon its own head, right? When we were Created simple and ignorant, our first reincarnations were not here, were in primitive worlds, most likely. And there, we were not completely conscious of personal responsibility. But today, we know what personal responsibility is. We know God put us here for a reason. So the more we know, more will be asked of us. It says, however, upon awakening to the need for peace within oneself, one immediately discovers the cross that belongs to one improvement. So now that I know God is giving me more responsibility, saying, okay, if you take path A, these are the consequences. If you take path B, those are the consequences. And because we sometimes as humans learn more with pain than love, we choose the harder path. Now, Emmanuel is going to tell us incarnate and discarnate spirits bound to earth are all connected to the same requirement of progress and reparation. In the physical world, the cross may be an organic difficulty, a social limitation, or an unhappy relative. In the spiritual plane, it may be the shame of an inner defect not yet overcome, the expiation of guilt or debt not yet repaid. So Emmanuel here is telling us that both incarnate and discarnate beings on this earth, meaning you and I, our spiritual friends, the spiritual friends of others, our loved ones, incarnate and discarnate, are all connected to the same requirement of progress and reparation. So we repay our debt, but we also progress. And he's giving us example because maybe it's the organic difficulty. Maybe it's because something is not working and we need health care, we need help, we need resources. In the spiritual plane, it may be shame, guilt, right? We know because the laws are written on our conscience. We know when we're not doing the right thing. And that can eat away at us, both incarnate and discarnate beings. We're all connected to the same requirement of progress and reparation. So now what do? He says, let us therefore have the courage necessary to follow the Lord in our desire for resurrection and victory. So we want to follow Jesus, right? We want to be like, oh yes, Jesus is my guide and my model. Question 625 of the Spirit's books. Most Spiritists know this quote. Well, what does it mean to have Jesus as a guide and model? It means to look back at what he did and how he did it and emulate and copy until it becomes second nature for us. So we go to the books. Good News, Pontos e Contos, is not in English yet. The book Good News is in English and published. We have the book Jesus in the Home by Neil Lucio, already published. Those are books that teach you and I how Jesus did it. And then, of course, we go to the Gospels, the true Gospels, so that you and I can learn and grow. It says, but for this to have the courage to follow the Lord, many of us don't have the courage. We have the desire to follow Jesus, but when it comes to the social circles, we don't have the courage. We don't have the courage to give up our weekend to volunteer, to give up our time to translate a message, to make a post, to create a study like this, to volunteer to clean your Spiritist center, to volunteer to feed the homeless. Or I'm not willing to say I'm a Spiritist because that will alienate me on my social circle. So we have to have the courage, not just the desire. The desire is the starting point, but the courage. What are we doing with the courage that we have inside of ourselves? Because this lifetime is a lifetime Jesus is saying is about time. All this millennia came and you are not following me now. It's time. And we reincarnate with the knowledge of Spiritism. And we don't know if that's going to be true next life. Right? So we need to do it now. Do it today. Because today you build your next life. It says it's necessary to forget the imprisoning selfishness and take up our own cross. So let's look around, friends. As the beauty of spring, as you can hear on my voice, the beauty of spring is out there. flowers that fall, the change of season, the animals coming back and rebuilding. What is my cross? What kind of painful processes I'm going through, both in the physical and spiritual domains of my life? Pain is a process. It's telling us where to go, how to go, and perfection is what you and I want. And that's why we spend these precious minutes a few times a week learning with Emmanuel. And I hope that this message helps you today. So share, like, subscribe, and pass it along so others can benefit as well. And God willing, I'll be back with you another time with another Learning with Emmanuel series. Take care. Bye bye.